I'm Dr. Caitlin Kite from the Academic Development Team, and I'm going to explore the importance of variety in learning and teaching. When students make the transition from post-16 education to university, they bring with them a huge diversity of educational, social, and cultural experiences. For some, their prior experiences make the transition a much easier and more natural process. But these are not better students. These are students for whom there is simply a stronger alignment between their previous learning and typical university ways of learning. A truly inclusive learning environment supports the transition for all students and recognizes diverse ways of learning and teaching, underpinned by diverse backgrounds. This heterogeneity of students is a rich resource for the learning experiences of all students and should be at the heart of a university education, changing the way students see themselves and their world. However, this is not always what students actually experience. An inclusive learning environment proactively acknowledges and addresses the diversity and heterogeneity of the student population. Whilst inclusion sometimes focuses on named groups, gender, ethnicity, disability, socioeconomic background, and so on, an inclusive learning environment encompasses the broad diversity of human differences which students bring to their study. One way to think about this diversity is represented in the table shown here. Thinking about diversity in this way requires a cultural shift away from the expectation that students need to adapt to the dominant and preferred way of operating a university to a more inclusive approach. But what does this look like to a teacher in the classroom? The implication of what I've just been discussing is that different students learn at different paces and in different ways. People will have different starting points depending on their previous experience with the topic or activity. Some people will find particular concepts easier than others, and some may not understand the point of an activity at all. When teaching, you have a responsibility for both what and how all of these students learn. To be even more specific about this, I want to introduce the idea of troublesome knowledge or threshold concepts. These are found in all subjects and are the fundamental topics that absolutely must be covered. That's because these ideas must be grasped before a learner is capable of moving on to further areas of that topic or discipline. So threshold concepts really are a key to academic success. They can be tricky to tackle because not everyone will respond and progress similarly. That means that you need to engage in careful planning and perhaps even be willing to unexpectedly spend additional time on a topic. So how do you do this? Well, from the very beginning, you'll need to have a plan for finding out what your students already know about a topic. This can help inform the detail and pace of a session or even the whole module. At any time, you may have learners who are behind or ahead in their understanding of particular material, so it's important to consider how you might identify them and then how you can respond to their needs and help them learn. This can be challenging and requires both empathy and patience. You might be wondering what this looks like in practice. There are many ways that you might try to embody the virtues that I've just been talking about, but three main tactics include, first of all, employing a range of different activities. Although not all students will like every activity, there should be at least one method in the mix that will appeal to and inspire each student. You can also involve students in the creation of their own learning, for example, by allowing them to select topics for research projects or formats for assessments. And you can draw on and place value on students' own lived experiences and provide them with opportunities to use insights from these diverse experiences to inform each other and you. Collectively, these sorts of approaches are known as student-centered learning, and each of them, particularly the last one, can involve some element of peer learning. Peer learning uses activities and discussion to encourage your students to share their thoughts with, learn from, and inspire their peers. This can be a powerful and memorable way to learn, and one which helps ensure that everyone, or as close to that as possible, is on the same page about a particular topic. It's a great way to help everyone grapple with and succeed in mastering threshold concepts. What you'll notice from the suggestions that I've just listed is that not all information needs to come from you. This doesn't diminish your responsibility and influence as a teacher, but simply means that you can refocus your attention from dispensing knowledge to providing appropriate learning opportunities to each of your students. Thinking about yourself as a facilitator rather than a teacher has the further advantage of helping you to be more adaptable to different types of learners and cohorts, and to different educational environments. In this way, you can reframe variety so that it doesn't feel like a challenge so much as an opportunity, with benefits for both you and your students.